Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2 Days Podcast, episode 14. Hola!
Welcome back.
How are we all doing?
14. It's
It's good to have you back. It's been a week. How you doing, Sid?
Welcome. Yes, we're all still alive.
We're all good. We're all here.
Yeah.
Hot and humid Melbourne. It's like...
Oh, my God. That's the reason why
Queensland.
I don't live in Queensland.
well, it's come to us. Particularly, this last couple
I predicted
of days.
global warming. I could feel it getting warmer.
Well, most certainly has the last couple of days. Can I just say a warm welcome back to our viewers and listeners to the 2 Dads Podcast? And that's 2 Dads TOO.
Come closer to the fire. Closer to the fire. Just pull up a seat.
Make your way forward. Get comfortable.
Put some marshmallows on a stick.
Yeah.
And just,
Sing a
just,
kumbaya with us.
Yeah.
Our
sing
kumbaya. The love letter
kumbaya.
kumbaya.
Yeah. If you could spit roast a ScoMo, that'd be,
That's all right, mate.
that'd be the way to get there.
He will manage that all by himself. I'm pretty sure.
Welcome to the 2 Dads Podcast.
Welcome.
It's
where we are.
TOO, not the number two.
Not number two. Not the
TWO. It's
No.
TOO.
That's
Two, as in too much like dads, because
Too much like
we are
dads.
just so much like dads.
We are very much like dads.
And we're a
And,
sucker for a pun, because that's
love a
such a
good
dad
pun.
thing.
Yes, it is such and a dad joke. Love good dad jokes, and you've come out
And a
with some
dad joke.
absolute pearlers. Like I'm talking, there's top shelf, and then there's platinum, and you've pulled out some absolute platinum.
As I say, they are not all gold, but some of them are platinum.
You really rub them really hard.
So, if you want some wheels,
Hot Wheels.
What
sort of wheels?
and you're, on your side of town,
Down southeast. They probably are hot.
near
Really
near
hot.
for Knox, near for Knox, and obviously you don't want fake ones, right?
No, you want the real deal.
You don't want fake wheels on your car,
No, you want the real.
right? So where do you go?
Oh, well, you go to a tire store, but I get the feeling there's a very
So,
specific.
if you don't want fake wheels for your car, you need to look for the wheel deal,
The wheel deal.
because it's the wheel deal, man.
It's the wheel deal, man.
It's the wheel deal, man.
The wheel deal.
Wheel tire shop
In Knox.
for Baronia. Yeah,
Are
in Baronia. Yeah, I went
Wow.
past it the other day.
Did you?
I'm going to have an accident one day.
I'm just keep looking around
I
for these.
know, just
puns.
everywhere I'm driving, I'm looking, and it just so happens that
You'll
I
make the
find them.
news. Well, you'll make the news, much like if I could speak into cars before we go into your next pun, something I shared with you during the week.
Yep.
Our listeners,
Yep.
our dedicated listeners and viewers about our urban arms race. There was an article in the paper about that. An article saying our obsession with diesel vehicles is something to be scared
Diesel
about.
4-wheel drives.
Yeah, so there you go.
Which we are both afflicted with such.
We are.
with such obsession.
But you brought it up first on this podcast prior to it.
Every
hitting
time you're at the
papers.
lights and you see the guy next to you with the all-terrain tires, you think,
Oh yeah, I got to get me that.
as
Look good.
aggressive it can possibly be. If you could have a tire with like shovels on it,
Just
I reckon everyone
mining,
would go for it.
mining for gold as you go. Let alone Bitcoin. Anyway, I interrupted, but just thinking about wheels and
So
cars.
you're in Queensland. You're in Queensland, which is another
Oh,
state up
That's
north.
right, up north.
Yeah,
This is
which
the weather.
now have opened their borders.
They've let the doors, flung them open.
And you look for a hairdresser.
Wow, I might not, but just in case someone is.
Yep. Obviously not you.
But if you are, hypothetically.
Why don't you curl up and die?
Is that the name of the store?
Curl up and die. Hairdresser.
Is that right next to like a, I don't know, retirement village or something like that? That's terrible and funny at the same time.
We're not the only ones on the outlook for puns.
Oh, wow.
And even that's not it. We're not the only ones on an
Curl up
outlook
and
for
die.
puns.
That's right. It's a
Curl
pun
up
in
and die.
itself.
Curl up and die.
Curl up and die. Can you imagine answering the phone there? Hello, curl up and die. can I
How
help
dare
you?
Kill him and die.
I just want to
Kill
get a
him and die.
blue rinse.
Uh,
Oh, that's good.
I don't know what it
That's
is
so good.
about fish and chip shops.
They seem to.
New South Wales, there's a suburb called Rhondda,
Yes, there is. There is. Rhondda.
right?
Rhondda.
So if you had a fish shop in a suburb called Rhondda,
I feel
which
like
is in New South Wales,
Yeah.
you would call it a fish called Rhondda.
You can't make this stuff up. You really can't.
You cannot make this up. It is that good.
A fish called Rhondda. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Anyone in our era would get it. Clearly because of the movie.
Yeah, I don't.
But-
I
but
don't
still-
think anyone younger would actually.
No one in the 90s. 'Cause
Remember
that was
the movie.
Early 90s? Early 90s?
Yeah,
Would have had to have been, right? Well, back in high school. That's when I remember it. John Travolta.
I have a bonus.
Anyway. Oh, you got
I have.
normally
I
the
have a
bonus
bonus.
is the icing. It's
So
normally-
we're going back to Queensland.
Yep.
You're looking for a plumber,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
You're flicking through the pages, or you're going through Google or whatever.
Yeah, on the Google.
Yep. All systems go.
All systems go plumbing.
All systems go plumbing. Come on. Come on.
People have sat down and thought through this.
Tell you.
Like
We
the
don't-
intent. It's the intent of creating the pun. That's what I'm saying.
It
It wasn't
can't be
accidental.
only us. It can't be the only us. It can't be only us that love
No, come on. That is brilliant.
that love the punnage.
That
It's
is
just
brilliant. That is brilliant. All systems go.
So
Well,
right before I announce
Oh.
episode
Yes,
14,
episode 14's
episode
topic.
14.
Yes.
Where do cows go for entertainment,
Oh,
Philip?
where do they go? A museum? No.
Movies. You nearly got it.
I nearly got
handed
it.
that one to you.
Oh,
I
man.
handed that one
I was
to
so
you.
close.
So
Oh,
close.
so close.
The movies.
The movies.
That is such a dad joke. That's
It
almost
is.
embarrassing.
Oh my goodness.
All right, one more.
All right. Listen.
What did the 0 say to the 8? What did the 0 say to the 8?
Oh. I don't know. What?
Nice belt.
This is beautiful. What is that?
You've
Velvet?
actually frozen. I don't know if it's your Huawei modem.
Oh, is it? No, you're there. Oh, we've had an interruption. This is the first time on the Two Dads podcast. This is the weather, but still, nice belt.
Says your internet connection is unstable.
Yeah, mate, it's probably getting hacked. That's a good one. Nice belt. I like it. I like
Well,
it.
it is probably getting hacked because episode 14 of the Two Dads podcast
Yes.
is called Code Brown.
Code Brown. Oh,
Uncertainty is the only certainty.
yeah, it sure is at the moment. It is. Code
So,
Brown. That is
The
actually
nation
a
has
medical
been
code,
called
isn't
to a
it?
Code Brown. Yeah.
It's a medical code, isn't it? It's Code
Yeah,
Brown means.
It means that there's no ambulances. So
mate,
unless you're dying,
but not only that, I think Code Brown also means any healthcare workers on leave, it's like automatically cancelled and you're on call.
cancelled.
and
You must
anything can
return.
happen.
They're even hiring
Yeah,
healthcare workers that retired,
to get them back in.
or healthcare workers that have moved on to some other line of employment.
To try
Or,
and
you
get them
know.
back. Yeah,
It's a Code Brown. Code Brown.
Code Brown.
Now, the Code Brown means many things.
Well, yeah.
Normally, it means there's some sort of exit and everyone out.
comes.
The Code Brown moments. But Code Brown people, if you don't live in
Yes.
Australia and listening to
Yeah.
our podcast from overseas, yeah.
Mhm.
So most of the state governments, I think most of them, or at least Victoria and New South Wales, the southern states, most populated states, have called a Code Brown, which means all medical personnel go back to work.
Pretty much.
No holidays, no sick pay. Apparently, if you're infected, you still go to work, according to ScoMo.
Well, apparently, I believe the Victorian government have also said the same thing, right? If you're a close contact.
If you're close contact with no symptoms, you're allowed to go back
that's right.
to work.
Yeah.
There's no legal standpoint. But of course, let's just open the floodgates and allow everyone to self-report their infections.
Well,
because that works.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That's accurate. Last Saturday, the case numbers went up to 54,000.
Yeah, it did go
and
high.
They were normally
I think it was a couple of days worth
in the threes.
Yeah, but I think there was a couple of days worth there because they were catching up on PCR testing as well, is my understanding.
Yeah, well, the PCRs are taking 4 to 7 days. Some people are not even receiving their results after 7 days.
The Athena of real estate needed to have one done because of internet work. It took a week.
Yep.
Took a week. So it just goes to show how much stress that the system is under, that the government highlighted they would be under. And
no, but they started shutting down sites.
Yeah, I know, but this is people in society got to take it more seriously and not just rely on someone else to fix it and take ownership.
Yeah.
But I actually get a feeling, even with it is gone Code Brown, I feel like a lot of people have put themselves in a self-imposed lockdown. I believe. I think people are just saying, you know what, this is serious. We're just going to bunker down and just really play low or play it safe. And you've got
a lot of people
groups,
that
right?
are just not intermingling.
No, that's right. People
are
just
not going outside,
not doing anything. But you've got others that go, you know what, let's go for it, and this is back to normal. And there's a lot of infections out there. But that was due to happen.
If you listen to the federal government, it's time to for let her rip tater chip.
Yeah.
Just open the taps.
Yep.
And hope for the best.
Yep. It is.
And all of our state governments are still trying to stick to some kind of...
With the exception of the Emperor, mate. The Emperor's not budging over out west. He is not budging.
Out west? I don't
out west. Yeah. Premier.
Oh, but for Western Australia, they're not opening the borders until February.
Yeah, no, he's still holding firm.
Yeah. And
for the unwashed, he's brought in the strictest rules of any state in Australia when it comes to the unwashed and what they won't be able to do, basically. He's taken a very hard line.
For a Premier in New South Wales,
see.
He's done his dud. Unfortunately, the graphics have let me down once again.
Man.
On this, but it is. He's got some salami, and he's done his dud. Is the graphic?
There you go. Yeah. Well, there's no.
You want to explain to the listeners and the viewers about?
Those
are our friend Don from New South Wales.
Those are Don Strasbourg sausages. If that he's got there poking up from the bottom, just to be very clear, it is a meme of the Premier of New South Wales, Dominic. What's his name?
Perrottet.
Perrottet.
Yeah, who has 7 children.
He's got another one on the way.
Yeah, clearly he's got no TV.
Jeez. Clearly he's got time. But he's just
those jokes just write themselves.
I know. The image is just a play on.
Obviously needs a bus as well.
Yeah. The images are the play on the old 90s commercial of his Don is good. We were just saying that. The Premier is just Yeah, New South Wales, Victoria just said, that's it. We're not going back to lockdowns. There might be some restrictions.
No.
I think masks will be a feature for a while, which is understandable.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they're being enforced. Oh, Mr.
See
Andrews. Where is he? You?
if I keep my head still.
You look like one of the hobbits. There he is. Dan. Has he come back from leave?
Yeah,
I think he's
Dan the
come back from
man.
leave.
Yes, he is back from leave. I saw the press
from leave.
conferences.
Yeah, he's back from leave.
There's no longer an acting so and so. Now it's the actual man with the ears.
He's back.
So
I'm surprised he hasn't been blamed for the whole visa scandal that's happening in Melbourne at the moment.
My God.
Not that you care because it's sport related, but
no. But I did drive past all the centre for tennis earlier, and it didn't look like there's much going on. It didn't look like there was an international.
No. Is it set
international
up?
tournament?
Have they got marquees? They got marquees and stuff set up, or none of that sort of things happening?
Not really. It's only just all the cars going up and back from the Crown, and otherwise you wouldn't know. There's no.
I think it's capped, right?
There's a few hardcore, fans that are just staying outside, holding the cameras, just waiting to see some.
One of the players.
It's even hard to stay awake, while explaining. So
no, you look like you're about to nod off.
Okay, let's just unpack the whole for Novak thing. I think this is the code brown of the worst kind. Now,
yes,
the absolute avalanche of incompetence that has happened from the time there was the word visa, and for Novak next to it, it's all turned pear-shaped.
It all went code brown.
Yep. And every Australian that has had to deal with the pandemic over the past almost 3 years has a right to be extremely irate.
Yeah.
Because we followed the rules. We did everything right. Our relatives are not able to actually enter into Australia if they don't have the vaccinations.
Yeah, and even with exemptions, it's very difficult.
Right? Yeah, apparently having the CoCo exempts you from having the jabs.
Is that definitive? Is that the stance? That's what's assumed here
for Djokovic.
Right. In his sense,
it's not definitive. That's
what I'm wondering.
That's for Djokovic.
That's one thing I wanted to get some clarity around.
Yeah, so that's what he's a $50,000 a day lawyer. $50,000 a day legal team. Yeah, that's what their argument was.
How many people?
That's what their argument was. That he's exempt. That his exemption is around the fact that he's had it.
But the exemption was approved by Atagi, is that right? I believe it was approved by.
The exemption was not approved by Atagi. Well, it wasn't approved by anyone in Australia. He just claimed that he had an exemption, and he never actually showed up with evidence of an exemption. Now, in Australia, the only exemption you can have is a registered exemption from actual.
It's actually a certificate.
For medical, it's a medical exemption on grounds.
Oh, you would be very familiar
completely for medical. Yeah,
you'd be very familiar.
So every other citizen has to do that. Yeah. So internationally, it's irrelevant what happens outside the borders of Australia because you're entering into Australia.
Yeah. Agree.
So that was the first error. And on top of the fact that the people from the ATP and obviously whatever involvement the state government had in it, which I doubt is that much because
wouldn't be much.
The borders, international borders fall under jurisdiction for federal.
It's federal. That's right. We've got nothing
so
to say.
I think someone's hand was in the cookie jar, and they had hoped that it would all just all the rain of money would make it all go away. But
well,
no,
that didn't work.
And also, what they found that when he was positive, he was swanning around in Serbia, going to parties,
that's apparently
for press conferences and all that sort of thing. Yeah,
the reports.
So now, which I heard this morning, the international media and the community is on the ball with that as well, because they believe now he's in breach of because Serbia is part of the EU, right?
Correct. Yes, it is. Yep.
So now he has put his foot in his mouth with the EU as well, because the EU now want answers as to why he's not obeying by their rules. Because if he knew he was positive and he still went out for all his engagements, now they want to know why.
But even if he wasn't, you'd had a test. If he was arranged for a result,
no, he already knew he was positive.
I'm just saying, if he already knew, is that definitive? I just want to be very clear, because it's just, you need to work in facts here, not in assumptions. We think
innuendo.
Exactly. But I guess if the fact is he knew he was positive, absolutely he's got questions to answer. There seems to be some sort of murkiness around the timing of when he found out he was positive versus the engagements that he attended. Even if that is murky, if you're waiting for a result, shouldn't you be isolating until you receive that result and not attend any engagements and not be mingling? So either way.
But it was an error of judgment. I'm so sorry.
It is.
Like,
see, that's the thing, right? We've spoken about this. We have spoken about, we want the choice, but we don't want the consequence that comes with those choices, please, if you wouldn't mind just putting that to the side. Yeah, look, I don't have any sympathy for the guy.
No. I have millions upon millions upon millions in the negative of sympathy.
Yeah.
Because you come in here to make money. Let's be straight out of it. It's got nothing to do with anything else. And
it's his job.
I've never had the problem. I've never had any issue with Serbians.
This is not about where he's from.
If I was Serbian, I'd be a little bit embarrassed as to how my fellow countrymen have tried to turn this into some sort of human rights. And, our Djokovic.
This is not, it's not an uncommon low-hanging fruit grab to always go the human rights route when it comes to this.
And Philip, you know my stance on a grown man in tears. I've just got an issue. I mean, there's maybe 3 reasons for any man.
I'll give you something to cry about.
To cry on camera.
Yep.
All right?
Birth of your
child. There was a guy.
Birth of your child is one.
Our age. Yeah. The birth of your child is 1.
Yep. Number 2?
And for number 2 is when you marry the love of your life.
Correct. Number 3?
For at the funeral of a relative or some kind of.
Exactly.
That's fine. But a guy that plays tennis, they've allowed him out of the hotel in order to go to the hearing.
Well, that was the judge.
I can't talk. Oh my God. I'm like, what is wrong with you? How is this something for you? Like, they switched the camera on this guy to ask him how he felt about Novak being allowed out of the hotel. And he got halfway through the sentence and just
broke down.
Completely broke down.
Wow.
Saying that he couldn't talk.
Wow. Well, there you go. I've got no explanation for you. How good must this guy's life be? Oh, no.
If this is a low, like a low level.
If Novak Djokovic can't play a game of tennis, yeah.
My God.
Well, maybe it's look. I think it's going to be very interesting the next 24 hours, if not the last two or few since the announcement came out. I actually called it. I was speaking with the Athena Real Estate about this because she asked me, when's they going to make this decision? And I was saying, we're going to go the corporate model where you send the email out at 5 p.m. on a Friday.
Yep. And make sure no one reads it until Monday morning.
Sure enough.
I did exactly that just before.
Off you go. Worry about it till Monday.
Switch off. I'll worry about it on Monday. I'm telling you, if the Springboks were here in a hotel and there was some kind of shenanigans with their visa and how they got here and they're going to send them all back on a plane.
You go, well.
I'd be happy to be there closing the door as they leave. They've done the wrong thing.
Well, that's the thing. Absolutely. Yeah.
You're an Australian first. If you're a citizen of this country, you're an Australian first.
And having said that, Sid, that's a very good point. If it had been one of our guys overseas who pulled this stunt, I'd be just as angry and going, dude, you can't go in someone else's backyard and start making up the rules that you want to play by if they've got rules you need to play by. Simple as that.
We wanted to string a guy up from a tree because he put sandpaper on a cricket ball.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Australia don't play. we don't play with this kind of thing. One thing for our international viewers and for the listeners, Australia has this syndrome called, Philip knows what it is, the tall poppy.
Yeah, tall poppy syndrome.
Yes. Yeah, we don't like anyone,
no one,
high and mighty in themselves, like they're like themselves, like they're above everyone.
Nah.
So, for example, we don't tolerate Prince Andrew.
Oh, please. Geez, you had to bring that up.
Oh, yeah.
If there was ever a bigger tool, the biggest tool that's in the tool bag.
Yeah.
And there he is. Been stripped of all his princely whatever by the Queen.
He doesn't do any official... Yeah, he won't do anything as the Prince of York.
He's no more. His title's no longer
something about the
Royal Highness or something. His Royal
Prince
Highness.
of York or something like that. He's just Andrew Windsor.
Andrew. Andy.
I mean, you could probably have a poster, not pedophile, under it, and a question mark.
Oh, seriously.
I mean. I hate to value judge,
if that isn't the epitome,
it's pretty likely.
If the epitome of tall poppy syndrome, that guy right there.
Yeah, everyone deserves the day in court.
Absolutely.
Everyone
when that day comes,
have innocent till proven guilty. I understand that.
But once that day comes and you're proven guilty, it's time to start wearing the consequences.
And when you start trying to make excuses that but she already settled a civil lawsuit where she agreed to not pursue anyone else that may be involved.
That makes it worse.
Yeah, and that went in front of a judge for New York, and he's doing what you're doing. He's just laughing.
That doesn't make it any better, bro. You're not helping. You're actually helping me make this very easy.
Yeah. If there's a chance that you interfered with an underage girl, you have to answer for it.
Oh, and those stories make me so angry. You know. Geez, seriously.
And they've tried everything to worm their way out of it, but it's not happening.
But the Code Brown.
Code Brown, right back for Djokovic. Now,
he goes?
He's also a prolific anti-jabber.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
So you cannot tell me that they didn't sit at a boardroom meeting one day with the ATP or whatever and say, look, we have these laws in Australia. How do we sidestep about it?
Yeah, I reckon that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
How do we get around these? Because
he's world number one.
Got to have him there.
How can we have an international tournament without the world number one? Yeah. It's fine to cancel the Formula One for 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that's all right. But
him forbid, we show the tennis.
The Code Brown hits the fan.
Yeah.
You know,
Unbelievable.
it's true. That is true. Something went, you know, there's a lot of finger pointing, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the ATP, they're going to do it to save themselves.
Yeah. 100%.
But I can't see
for
anything, I can't see him coming back from this either, because this cancellation is, well, by definition of the legislation, it's a 3-year ban, is my understanding, unless upon application to the federal government, the minister would waiver that.
Yes.
Would waiver that.
At some point we're gonna have to work on
how we get these images
shot size right. And how we get these images right. What type of a JPEG? You know?
I don't know.
But Philip, please explain to the viewers. This is a news poll.
We have a news poll which we have in
yep.
I believe it's Australian, and what it does is it's a snapshot of a poll being who's popular, who's not popular. And
who would they rather want to be?
Oh, well, I can't read it all, so you read it. You tell me. I can only say the word 5248, new, and aliens because you're in the way.
So, sorry, man. So it's a news poll. News poll shows more Australians want Scott Morrison for deported rather than Novak Djokovic. So 52% of all those polled want our Prime Minister
4%
to be sent to another country, and 48% for Djokovic.
King Djokovic, yeah. You know what? That doesn't surprise me.
No,
that doesn't surprise me at all. Like I said, mate, if Code Brown is code for an absolute SH1T show that's about to go down, this weekend's going to be the weekend to go down in history. You watch. It's gonna get.
I don't know what's going to happen with the next election that we have.
It's going to get nasty.
I've messed it up.
You got all these good ones.
I know.
You put all this effort in.
So
I don't know why it does that.
I have to work out what's the resolution. But
I can figure it out.
We'll have to explain for the viewers and the listeners. So there's a picture of a zombie.
Yep.
And a picture of Scott Morrison,
the Prime Minister,
who's looking a bit
a little bit weary, buggered,
confused.
No, okay, that's
and the sign up above with a zombie and Scott Morrison says that awkward moment when a zombie is trying to look for brains and walks right by you. This is seriously, after all this hard work, after all the lockdowns, after everyone go through,
to come down to this, something which should have been completely avoided and dealt with before even
with brains instead of like the Wild Wild West, just shoot out of things.
Now it's just created this, and it's really taken away from what is a more pressing concern when it comes to the Code Brown. We've got healthcare workers and hospitals and doctors and nurses and people who are working their guts out. I don't think people comprehend what it's like working on a COVID ward. And I can't say that I've been to see one.
But if you just look at the people that work the PCR test, it's 37 Celsius outside,
and
you're in full PPE.
Everything is
gloves,
rubber. Your body can't breathe.
N95 mask,
It's
face shield, glasses, gloves,
everything. The plastic apron. Yeah. I mean, that's the real. And when it comes to the Code Brown, that's what we're trying to alleviate as much pressure on that system. I guess the silver lining is it seems to be coping in the sense of people who are very ill in ICU and on ventilators. But you never want to see, you can't be satisfied with saying, there's only 30 people on ventilators. You want to see zero 0 is the number you want to see.
No, what I find is the theme going through for people that are not in Australia. All our states have a regular press conference. So all the leaders of all our states, where they give like a statement of what's happening now. The theme seems to be, how good a job are we doing? That's all it is.
Yeah.
And all about blaming someone else or saying, well, at least we're not as bad as the other state.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's just, this is why we're doing this, because we don't want to end up like New South Wales or then also,
And the lukewarm, pathetic type of leadership that we've had to deal with is just, it's beyond a joke. And we are now starting to kind of head towards the view of the Antijabers, because they're like, you know, they're all overreaching, they're all don't know what they're doing. So it's now starting to head more towards that way. I mean, that's all the Antijabers are just have no intelligence whatsoever. But we have to.
They would argue that point.
I did meet one that I had to let go 6 months ago because he refused.
Oh, well, you make a choice and there's consequences with those choices.
You've never seen a more happier man. Still driving the same car. Out at a place, he was having tiramisu.
There you go.
He said hello, he's happy, he shook my hand, everything. Yeah, he's just working for the government now. 6 months.
Ah. There you go.
On the dole.
Our taxes.
Our
taxes at work.
And of course they can't place him or offer him any type of job because
so he's basically sought out.
He goes every day. I find someone for coffee. I go somewhere for lunch. He goes, it's good.
So he doesn't really need to work anymore until they change things because he's getting a handout.
Well, he cannot because there's no way he can work without.
Wow.
Where have we gone wrong? This is we're not supposed to be rewarding incompetence.
It seems like what we're doing.
It's a complete opposite of economics. So it's like the more you don't work, the more you're going to get paid.
Good God.
It's irrelevant.
But surely there's a
just
time
become
cap on
completely
that.
irrelevant.
Surely there's a time cap on that.
Well, they better start doing something. They better start saying, well,
forever.
if you've chosen to take this stance, then we will not fund your lifestyle. But they've not. This is the loophole that they've not closed. So, you know, look, the whole thing should be, number one, if you have symptoms, isolate.
Yep.
Number two, if you don't have symptoms, you keep going.
Yep.
Obviously, you follow rule number one when you have symptoms.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Or as a close contact. If it's in the family, you know, do the right thing as well. And I know people who.
And instead of ramping down the PCR system, they should have been ramping up.
The rats.
Because now it's the most important time to actually have them, and everyone needs the results in a day, not 7, not 2 weeks.
But yet again, the federal government, we have a manufacturer here in Australia, who can pump these things out by probably.
We must have watched the same news story. He said he's got a warehouse with 4 million.
4 million, just sitting there. Good to go.
If he doesn't get an answer, when I watched the news story, he goes, if he doesn't get an answer in the next couple of days, it's going overseas, because he's got people and other customers emailing him from overseas asking, you know, when can he supply? He said, well, I can have them all on a plane and you can have it in a day.
Wow.
And this guy makes it here, and it's a whistle.
Oh, I don't know.
And it's also certified Aboriginal involvement as
this is
as well.
This has the artwork on the box, right? Yeah. Which I think is good.
Yeah.
That's
smart
brilliant.
businessman. Yeah. Worked it all out.
Oh, it's Australian.
And the TGA won't approve it.
What's the approval?
It's got nothing wrong with the science. Yeah, the science is well proven. It's already in use in like 15 other countries overseas in Europe.
So the problem is with.
He's put forward it through the TGA many times, and all their answer was that it's still going through the approval process. Everyone has to go through the same process. And this is Australian made, internationally certified.
Yeah. It's here in our backyard. It's
ready to go.
Queensland.
Yeah. Ready to go. And so no one can find a rapid antigen anywhere.
Yeah. So we could capitalise with this guy. The government could say, you manufactured for Australia, just pump them out. Keep going, keep going. We could have.
They did the same with the guy with the mask. Can you remember there was a mask manufacturer?
Didn't they?
They actually called the army in to come and work in the factory to help.
Didn't they modify the factory?
Make as many. Yeah.
They modified the factory. I think it was initially set up for something else.
No. He did make surgical masks.
Oh, he always did.
It was only for specific clients in Australia. Australian-made surgical masks. Mm-hmm. And then at the start of the CoCo, because all the supplies went south overnight, the government made the decision to send our army, in to help the guy run his factory and to ramp up the production. Now, where's that kind of logic now?
I don't understand, especially because a rapid antigen test, and if we had that, yes, you're dependent on people doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You like to think that more than 50% will do the right thing. I reckon you get at least 70% doing the right thing by self-isolating and doing all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
But then you'd have all these testing sites, which are probably taking a lot of resources away from hospitals. They could work maybe on a smaller scale. Some of those people working there go back to the hospitals. You might have a better management of personnel, because at the moment, PCR sites, like they're open at 7 and they're already turning cars away by 7:15.
Yeah, so they've already reached for the capacity for the day.
Yeah, but they reach them
when they haven't even opened yet.
Yeah, they reach them, but then if you park locally, they'll cycle those cars through and they'll reopen again for the next lot to come in. So it's almost like they fill the stalls, shut the gate, and then they just do that in order to not have traffic go on for miles and miles and miles. Oh, it's bizarre. But yet again,
I've got an analogy, right? I've got an analogy that I thought of. Thinking, because I am very pro for PCR, because it's everything scientific. Mm-hmm. All the procedures in place. All the balances are in place. It's a well-used system. Mm-hmm. All we needed was resourced. More resources thrown at it. Now, I'm not saying that I don't have faith in humanity in any such way, but if all of a sudden all the traffic lights were turned off,
oh yeah,
do you really think average Joe is going to get to a traffic light and be able to work out what's going on, allow people wait their turn? No way. It'd be complete and utter pandemonium.
In some countries. Maybe some countries can do it. Some countries do it. But we don't work.
There's no way it's happening
right here. Not here.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
So once the mum and dad are gone from the phase for testing, and you're just allowing everyone to self-test, and you're still handing out the payments from the government on the basis that you are for positive. Mm-hmm. Seriously, how do you hope that's going to work?
Another loophole.
Yeah, because you can still self-report and still receive the funding or the assistance.
I don't understand. I've never had to do the self-reporting, so I'm not sure what is required. But I doubt that a photo of your test is one of the submission documents you need to attach, right?
It's a photo of a test, not your test.
Well, that's
you're going to stand there. You're going to stand there holding the test next to you in a newspaper.
or your driver's
Or a
license or whatever it
passport.
is.
I
But
don't
then
know.
if you don't, but
It's just human nature. If you
not for all, but for
you know what I
some.
mean? If you leave a loophole there,
Yeah.
people
Particularly,
will exploit it.
particularly with a monetary reward, people will absolutely exploit it because it's money for jam,
Well,
right?
yeah, because it just ends up at the place. Well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't know.
And it just keeps happening. And now we've just allowed that to run rampant, to apparently do some sort of a test that you cannot buy. I did get an email from a supplier in the week where he's asking, I should name them. They were so upset. Charging for the box of 5 of the tests,
Yeah.
$250,
What?
and you had to pay up front.
$50
So you had
a
to pay
test?
first, and then they sent it to you. $50 a test.
Wow.
And they were happy to take any amount of orders as long as you pay up front.
Oh, sounds
It's
like
just immoral.
pyramid scheme. It's like the Polka King all over again. Polka.
Polka.
Well,
There's another good movie tip for everyone out there.
yeah.
If you got Netflix, look for the Polka King.
The Polka King.
Polka.
Yep.
Not poker as in cards.
Yeah, Jack Black does a brilliant job.
And it is a true story, people.
Yes.
A true story.
Yeah, it really did happen. But getting back to the test, the Athena of real estate tracked down, I think we got 2 boxes of 5 tests. So 10 in total for 150. So $75 a box. We did okay on that. So we've got them just ready. So we've got a few.
Yeah,
we've got enough. We've got enough, and only to really use it if we have, those sort of really those symptoms. But then again, when it comes back to the Code Brown discussion, we've decided to do just the lay low and be a bit extra careful on where we're going and what we're doing for the time being. Purely because we've got young kids, and of which Middle Smurf, not Baby Smurf, but Middle Smurf had her. Middle Smurf had her first visit.
First jab.
To the hut. She had that. So.
And how's she feeling?
She's all good. She went out with afterwards. Middle Smurf and
very good.
Athena of real estate went to Macca's to celebrate. And they're all good. Well, just to be clarified, went and purchased Macca's and ate it at home, not in the restaurant.
Didn't actually go inside.
Through the drive-through. Very clear. Purchased Macca's to celebrate afterwards.
And stayed away from the CoCo that exists inside the Scottish restaurant establishment.
Just drove through. So that wasn't a problem at all.
In the end, Phil, it's all a pile of cats.
It's all a pile of cats.
Yeah. So what would you call a huge pile of cats?
Oh, God. Good segue, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. What would you call a huge pile of cats?
Oh, what'd you call them?
A meowton.
Oh my God! It's also funny watching you trying to hold the laughter in as you're trying to give the punchline. It's hilarious.
I'm trying to be the straight man.
Yeah.
Just throw it out there.
A meowton. Yes, it is. A meowton. That's a good dad joke.
Sadly, viewers and listeners, we are still stuck with in for 2022 when we thought everything was going to be
I think this is
a bit different. We finally turned the corner. 93%, 94% full jabbed, and yet we are still stuck with a meowton of ignorance. And
I think it's going to be a tough year.
Incredible stupidity
and frustration. And look, and we're only in summer, so God, I'd hate to see what's going to happen when winter rolls around. But I just hope that, I think in all, for for the most part, people are at least protected themselves. So it seems like, and I know people who have, who've contracted the CoCo and who said, they felt crap for a couple of days, but they've managed to get through it and they're fine, right? So hopefully we see that, and we see that the pressure on the health system isn't significant, but also people taking responsibility and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Look, it's no longer a question of if, it's when.
When, it's when. But then when the when happens, be responsible. Stay home. Try. It's like when it was flu season. Don't go to work.
Yeah, it's exactly like the flu.
Just if you're
stay away from people if you have it. That's it.
If some people claim it's exactly like the flu, well then do the right thing. If you do get it, don't go spreading it if you can avoid that, please. Because you can help out in that way if you've chosen not to take any other protective precautions, which is absolutely your right. But
in conclusion, it's I think it can be boiled down to something very simple. And please, anyone out there on Spotify or YouTube, if there's 6 degrees of separation, where you can reach out to Scott Morrison, our Prime Minister, send him a link for the Two Dads podcast.
Yeah, please.
We don't hate him.
No, we just
we don't hate anyone.
No. Well, we
maybe the drivers of Camrys or whatever, but we still we just find it frustrating that the political engine has not stopped.
It's balls that up, mate.
For health. Health should be apolitical. You shouldn't. There shouldn't be anything for bipartisan. It should be bipartisan, and
yes, it
shouldn't matter what your political leanings are. Elbow can stand there and go on about the train from Melbourne to Sydney, from Melbourne to Brisbane.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Mate, we've got planes that can do that, Elbow. Don't worry about that right now.
I know. It's like they've just got this wall with all these ideas that when they're in trouble,
we'll use this one. The train one. We haven't used the train one anymore.
Roll out the train again. Everyone loves that one because they think, it'd be great to just hop on a train and go 3 states deep. No worries. It's very simple. It's very, very, very simple.
That's what's frustrating.
It should just be. It should just be do what needs to be done. And that's it.
Just
don't worry. Like you cannot. It's like standing in front of a tsunami holding an umbrella. It's just. You need to deal with it, in an actual way where people know what they're doing, because they've just caused too much confusion. Too much.
I mean, granted, it wouldn't be
3
easy.
steps. That's it.
It wouldn't be easy. Granted, it wouldn't be easy, okay? Because sometimes trying to coordinate 2 kids to get in the car just to go somewhere takes an hour, right? But if you're trying to coordinate a whole country, I can understand and appreciate that it can be a difficult task.
I know opinions are like ear holes.
What's that?
I know opinions are like ear holes.
Everyone
has them.
Everyone
has them.
That's true.
We do not.
I like what you did there.
We do not just like to throw out an opinion and not take any responsibility or not have an understanding of what's the weight behind it.
Yeah,
we do. But what is the most important thing is stick to the same line. Don't confuse people. Let people know exactly what they need to do, where they need to go, and how they need to, how it needs to happen. That's it.
Do you think that social media is confusing and blurring those lines? Because
no, I think now we've gone even, because that was the original.
Yeah.
The original for the CoCo and having the jabs. And we've gone way past it now. Now it's just. That's what I said. Now it's like you're standing there with an umbrella at a tsunami.
Facing
it's just not. It's it's now even those who were against all the jabs are now in a situation where they're fully confronted. It's overwhelming what's happening. And in a crisis, I mean, Scott Morrison needs to be like for Winston Churchill, it's a war.
Yeah.
Everything's falling apart.
Yeah.
Supermarkets are now having to close down.
Because they've had to furlough workers. And
no employers got staff.
Some restaurants have had to shut down purely because they haven't got the staff to run them. Or the stock to provide food because of the shortages, because of everything that's happening. And
this is Second World War stuff.
It's going to get worse.
It's just,
before it gets a bit better.
And what is so important when things like this happen is leadership.
Absolutely. Someone at the front who is very clear.
You need a dad. Australia needs a dad, is what it is.
Well, as much as he has copped a lot of flack, I should say, our Premier, he's not perfect, but he stood up there, Premier Andrews, and I think he showed exemplary leadership. A lot of people have a different opinion. I respect that. I would be happy to debate it, because I don't think there's a lot of points of contention that people have other than just an opinion, but that's fine. But that was leadership. Held his ground.
This is the thing. I mean,
I'm doing this because I don't care about popularity. I'm doing this because healthcare, that's what's important. That's why I'm doing this. Simple as that. Politics, don't give a crap. And he said that very clearly. Politics, don't give a crap. It's not important. Doesn't do anything to help this situation.
Whereas our Prime Minister, with everything we've been through already and the amount of endless zeros on the end of the check for the money that's been thrown at the situation, when it comes to the rats, which they knew over a year ago,
they would have needed it.
That they would needed it, and they just ignored it.
Yeah.
Now the time comes where they need it. Now he says, "Oh, but everything is not free, but it's okay to throw out six billion for subs that we didn't buy."
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
Because you had to send the compensation for the French. Oh, and also, by the way, for Djokovic, we paid his legal bills.
No.
Because we lost the High Court challenge.
Yeah, we had to charge. That's right.
So those lawyers that were $50,000 a day, ScoMo paid it. I suppose maybe the same person paid the legal bills for Djokovic was the same ones that paid the legal bills for Christian Porter.
Oh,
that same
possibly,
invisible.
Just happened.
I don't know where that money comes from. Someone just paid it.
Maybe.
Oh,
God.
Australia needs a dad. That's my statement.
In time of a crisis, you see the true colour of people, I believe. I think we've seen our current Prime Minister's true colours, and they're not great. They're not great.
They're yellow, is what they are.
Oh, mate. Weak as yellow.
Our Prime Minister's
weak as yellow.
True colours is yellow.
Yeah. Well, that'll all change in the next couple of months, I reckon. We'll have to wait and see. But, when you've got the choice between Laurel and Hardy, you start questioning things, right? What do you do?
Oh my God.
As long as some of the fringe parties, because I got some interesting paraphernalia in my letterbox about the Clive Palmer's UAP.
About Clive Palmer.
And Mr. his federal member there, his face on the leaflet that said at the bottom, "Could this be your next Prime Minister?"
Are you still getting all those SMSs?
Nah. I keep trying to reply to, tell them to get stuffed, and it just says you can't send it. Which is a shame. Reply. I can't reply, which I think is not fair. Because if
he's doing the 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon thing, but every day
corporate email.
The corporate email. Yes.
Oh, it's going to be interesting times. But Code Brown, I think Code Brown is going to be the poster boy of 2022.
Yep. Episode 14. Code Brown. Uncertainty is the only certainty.
That's absolutely right. It's going to be another whirlwind roller coaster year, albeit we're going to have freedoms. Let's hope. I think so. But it's just going to be, I think a lot more of what we're seeing right now.
Yeah. It's Friday night.
Yeah.
It's like Vietnam in Melbourne.
Hot. It's damn hot.
Damn hot. Real hot. Hotter things in my shorts. I can cook things in it. The crotch pot cooker. R.I.P. Robin Williams.
R.I.P. What a legend. Well, do we have anything to wrap up?
Did you have anything to report for the fool? It's hot. I told you again. Were you born in the sun? Why do I remember all this stuff?
Oh, because it's a brilliant scene.
Classic.
And that, if I understand, just before we wrap up, a lot of that Robin Williams he made that stuff.
Yeah, it was all just.
That wasn't scripted. They just said, do it, this, that, and he just all came off. Yeah. It was brilliant. Gone too soon.
There's not many people like Robin Williams.
Gone too soon. That's for sure.
But see, there's always a fine line between insanity and for genius.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Ask Charles Darwin.
Yeah, that's right. that is a good way of putting it. I think we're there. I think we've come to the point where we've said our bit. We've written our love letter.
We let it rip, Tater Chip. So
I mean, that's fine. But
your love letter, common sense, is to just everyone in this country.
Everyone's got to step up.
We need a dad.
Yeah, we do. We need better leadership at the helm because we're floundering at the moment. We really are, and I think
the captain of the Costa Concordia is our Prime Minister.
Yep.
And he's just found some lovely inebriated young woman that he wants to show the reef on the other side of the ship. So he's just spun the wheel, not worrying about that the ship's getting too close to the reef.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It's okay.
It's fine. Don't worry. It's okay. We pull him out.
And I also mentioned for Kazakhstan. I think I mentioned last time that Kazakhstan is in.
Oh man, that place is gone.
Some serious chaos.
That went south real quick.
I'm aboard it.
It went south really quick over there.
Yeah.
Scary south, not.
Yeah.
Like they don't muck around over there. They've got all sorts of stories coming out. Do you believe everything you read? I do, based on where I read them from. I trust the sources, so it's interesting what's happening in Kazakhstan. Well, the world has gone mad.
The world has gone mad, but
we are has gone mad.
We are the rock.
22.
The rock of sanity here at the Two Dads podcast.
We do try, and because we try, we need everyone to try a bit harder. I think, including you, federal government. You got to lift your game, because if you can't get a visa thing right, come on.
Yeah,
you got to really look at yourselves and ask yourselves.
Really, in the end, you can't blame Novak.
Okay.
No. Because for Novak is the same as the people self-reporting all the things of peace. If you have a positive test, you self-report, and the government sends you money. You don't blame those people.
No.
If you leave the hole open for something, like how was the guy here in the first place? How did he buy a plane ticket? Because if you need to go to another country, you cannot buy a plane ticket if you cannot prove vaccination.
Exactly. So it's interesting. There's a lot more.
And it's someone's hand in the cookie jar, man.
Yeah, there's something else going on in the background.
Yeah.
And stories. Will we ever find out? Don't know. But
I'm sure
what we do know for certain is that it's uncertain how this is going to play out over the next couple of days.
Uncertainty is the only certainty.
That's right. That's what we know. So strap yourselves in, people. It's going to be Australia on the world stage for all the wrong reasons.
Like that. Don't worry, Australia. The world is watching you. The world is watching.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be
all this for a player of tennis.
Yeah, I know.
The world is watching you.
On that
so
note,
inhumane to ask someone to go into a hotel.
It's torture.
Yeah.
Mate, I consider that a holiday. If I can go sit in a hotel for a week, just on my own and just relax. Anyway.
Yes. Sorry to interrupt. On that
No.
note.
No, on that note, I think we've gone to the point where we can wrap up episode 14.
Yep.
Do we have anything to share before we go? You normally have a morsel that you leave for the end, so go on, let her rip.
No, now you've hyped me up. Now I don't have anything.
Oh, you don't have anything.
I've got nothing left. I didn't leave anything until the end.
Oh, you did it all.
Sorry,
Completely
I'll
unloaded.
be better prepared next week. I'm spent.
Well, the Mountain one was a good segue, and it worked perfectly. Very cleverly done. Touche. Well done. Well, been a good podcast
The
as
Mountain.
always. So, thanks. Thanks for another Friday night, Sid. Take care.
I enjoyed being had.
Yeah, well, I'm going to leave that there. Everyone, take care. Please look after yourselves.
Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe. And just look out for one another. Adios.
Stay human. Adios, muchachos.